We went to Fisantekraal High School, which is situated on the outskirts of an underprivileged community, several kilometers outside Durbanville. We were assigned to tutor maths to matric and grade 11 students for 1.5 hours every Tuesday. The school itself, it had quite a lot of burglar bars and security fencing around the entire school. The classrooms also, which the students weren't allowed to be in at that moment in time, were always locked. So that was quite different to, for instance, the high school that I went to.
One of my guys was very silent, so for the first 2 sessions he wouldn't say a word to me. He would kind of, there was like a spokesperson for their group, or for the group of guys I was teaching, and that was a little bit tough to deal with, because I would ask directly to the guys, hey, what you guys dealing with, this is how this works, and then the spokesman would speak for them. It was only until about the 3rd session where they would speak to me directly. But it was very special. It was very heartwarming when the guy that wouldn't speak at all, he started speaking to me, and near the end he would ask me directly, and I could see that he was struggling a lot with maths. So I think it was a self-confidence thing where he didn't he just couldn't feel like he wasn't on par with the other guys. But together with that, it was the math that the guys were busy with. That wasn't the issue. The issue was the basics, and I actually think that was the biggest challenge. Was we had to go and teach them the basics on how to use a number line, and this is grade 11s. So it was, I think, as frustrating for them as it was for us, to realize that it's not their math or the curriculum that they've got a problem with, it's the very basics, and we had to reteach them a lot of the basics to be able to do the work that they're going to be tested on and be examinable on.
My 3 kids were very shy and quiet, and I struggled actually to make conversation with them, especially the first time that we met. I tried to find out a bit more about them. One of the nicest things actually for me was that one of my kids was 21, and he was still willing and fighting to matriculate, and that was very encouraging to see, especially because Janice, the main teacher in charge, she told us that the school has an extremely high dropout rate.
Another one was the time that we spent there helping them was a little short, since we were only there about 5 to 6 sessions for the whole term.
One of my main highlights was when the kids understood the principles that I was trying to teach them. It was rewarding for them to get something from the experience. One of my main highlights though was when excess kids showed up when the kids had planned for me to teach them science. It was interesting to see that other students were also interested to learn.
Not all of the students grasp the topics as quick as others do. I had to adapt my teaching style as well as develop patience. This will help me one day when we are faced with groups of people where the people inside the group do things slightly differently.
It's become apparent to me that what is important to one community is not necessarily important to another. It is important to consult those community members before moving forward on a project that will have an effect on them.
One of my socio-economic concerns were education. A way in which we can address this is to start a more consistent after-school program helping with students with mathematics and science. My other one was unemployment. We can address this by starting a project where we employ locals of the community to counteract the unemployment rate.
If these kids had the same opportunities as me, they'd be sitting where I'm sitting right now, and I think that's the defining factor that makes us different. They just don't have these opportunities, and I think we can take that to the broader South Africa and make it available to these kids.